Hi everyone, how's it going? Happy Saturday. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Astrid. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you want to book in a personal astrology session, you'll find a link for that in the description box below. And we're gonna have a full moon in Sagittarius, and it's a very, very philosophical full moon, and it's downright truth telling. So yeah, very interesting energy that's gonna happen on the 11th of June. And it's at a 20 degree. That's a Scorpio degree. So it's actually a very intense degree. And it dares us to go deeper, to see clearer, and also to speak our truth with a lot of conviction. We're seeing a grand mutable cross that is wired into this full moon, and we have a very interesting Sabian symbol, and also very important and big happy news to share, because Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius, is gonna enter Cancer 2 days before the full moon. So yeah, Sag and Jupiter, it is big, grand, adventurous, very, it's about adventure, about exploration, about the metaphysical realm as well. So yeah, whether you're like craving adventure, or maybe you're facing a big crossroad right now, because it's also a time where we are being asked to switch paths here, because Uranus is also going to shift into Gemini on July the 7th. So it's a big, big moment of change. And the change is inevitable. And I know a lot of people feel a lot of resistance towards the word change. So that's why I like to call it renewment, refreshment, and that way we can maybe adapt more easier to all the changes that are about to happen. So Becca says, yay, an Astrid astrology day. Thank you so much, Emerald Pat, to be here with us today. And I know you have a lot of Cancer placements. So Becca, this is going to be so beautiful for you the next year. So yeah, very, very curious what will happen for you. But a lot of abundance, and Jupiter in Cancer, and all this Cancer energy that we're going to have by this summer solstice. It's like the universe is saying that now I'm going to expand in the ways that you feel safe and nurtured. So that is very, very beautiful. And I'm looking forward to that. And Hannah says, I was just looking if there was a new video, and I see that you're live. Last time it happened as well. Well, Hannah, that's divine timing. Thank you so much for joining us today as well. And we're gonna start with the presentation. So Sagittarius, actually one of my favorite signs. It's also a fire sign, so very adventurous. It lives for exploration, travel, exploring new horizons. It's also the sign of truth, so it boldly pursues honesty, meaning, and also a higher wisdom. It's very optimistic, so it sees life through a lens of faith and possibility, and the possibilities will increase exponentially the next couple of weeks. So choose wisely. Sagittarius is also philosophical, so it loves big questions. It's a sign of spirituality and also our belief systems. It's also a sign of sovereignty, of independence. It values freedom, space, and personal growth. And it can also be quite spontaneous, sometimes a bit too spontaneous, but it clearly acts on intuition, and it often leaps before looking. So can be a little bit impulsive as well, just like Aries and other fire sign Leo. Also very blunt, bit too blunt sometimes, but also blunt and honest. So I really appreciate that. Sagittarius speaks with truth, with fire, even when it stings a little bit. So Sag is also a visionary, and it chases its dreams. It is very futuristic thinking, and it's also a natural inspirer. Sagittarius energy can be a little bit restless, because it's always about chasing the next adventure or the next big idea without looking at it from a realistic point of view. And we're going to see some clashes with Saturn in Aries, Neptune in Aries, and Jupiter entering Cancer, making a square with all the placements in Aries. Squares are challenges, conflict. So our next big vision, it needs to be met with Saturn's strict realistic view. So there can be some back and forth between that. Sagittarius is also a very wise fool. It's very playful, very curious, and it always wants to learn through experience. Where Gemini wants to learn through facts and information, Sagittarius does that through its own experience. So yeah, it's one of the most wise signs of the entire zodiac. And Stain says, Cancer rising in the house. Oh, that's so cool. This morning, I also had a session and it was also a person with a Cancer rising. So very positive news to share. I love these kind of sessions. And that session was with Tinpik, and he's just dropping a comment as well. Hi, Astrid. Thank you so much for your insight into my chart earlier today. I was feeling a bit down these last few days, but you always cheer me up. Oh, that's so beautiful, Tinpik. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed our time this morning. And then Arno says, I'm gonna be bluntly honest. Love that Astrid is back on the tube. I'm going on moon watch today. Yes, thank you so much, Arno, for being here. I really love that you're here. And Arno also says, love that you talk about this, Astrid. Thank you. I hope you are very well. Yes, I'm actually doing very well. I'm looking forward to Jupiter entering Cancer so much, and that's going to happen on June the 9th. And if you have placements in water signs like Scorpio or Pisces, then Jupiter in Cancer will make a beautiful trine towards all your water placements. So yeah, if you are a water sign or have a sun, moon, rising, or other planets in water signs, then it's time to party. So if we switch the slide, then we're gonna look a bit more at the chart of this full moon. So full moons are always a time and it marks a powerful moment of emotional culmination and also a lot of cosmic insights. The moon is always opposite the sun during a full moon. In this case, it's going to activate the Gemini-Sagittarius axis, and that is actually the axis or the signs of the student and the philosopher. The sun in Gemini focuses more on ideas, on the logic mind, on communication, but the moon in Sag really emphasizes truth, faith, and expansion of higher wisdom. So this lunation really invites us to find balance between our thinking and our knowing, our curiosity and our conviction or our beliefs. And it's also about information and wisdom and balancing out these two together. And the full moon is happening at 20 degrees of Sag, and that resonates with themes of deep transformation, emotional power due to its Scorpio undertone in the degree theory. 20 degrees is a Scorpio degree. So it's going to add a layer of intensity and this raw authenticity, and it's really going to encourage us to not only speak our truth, but to feel it and to fully own it. So normally, the Sag energy is very cheerful and adventurous, but here it's not the case. Here it pushes us to confront what has been brewing beneath the surface, especially in the areas of our lives that are related to belief systems, education, travel, and our higher meaning of life. So can be a big moment of realization. And whatever seeds you planted on the new moon in Sag back in December of 2024 are now becoming more fully visible and can reach a culmination point. So big time of truth telling, of release, and of recognizing whether our actions have been aligned with our deepest beliefs. So expect heightened emotions because it's on a Scorpio degree. There can be bold declarations, bold conversations, and also the desire to liberate yourself from anything that has kept you philosophically or spiritually small. That can be very wide, of course. And the energy of Sag is really fire, faith, and freedom, but it's making it so much more deep and intense being at the Scorpio degree. So it's very, Sag is very inspiring and very future oriented. Sag is also a mutable fire sign. It's very spontaneous, and fire signs typically bring energy and a lot of passion. And Sag expresses that through the realm of meaning, morality, and belief. We're invited with this full moon to ask ourselves, what do I believe in? And what gives my life meaning and direction? And what truth has been lingering beneath the surface, ready to be spoken? So the Sag energy, it's not just about our ideals, it's also about our freedom. Sag really longs to escape restriction, whether that means a geographical limitation that can be an outdated belief, or it can simply be these societal expectations in general. And when we have a full moon here every year in the sign of Sag, many feel a restless urge to explore by booking a trip or diving into a new area of study. It can also be about confronting our stagnant routines. When we feel stagnant and stuck, this is like a perfect time to release that and to integrate some new routine that embodies more wisdom and freedom. So we all might crave something new, something exciting, something bigger than we've known before. And this lunation is going to help us expose where our spirit wants to break free. Another important factor is that what's particularly striking about the full moon is that the emotional drive, which is the moon, is in Sagittarius, but the ruler itself, Jupiter, that will just change signs 2 days before this full moon, has jumped into Cancer. So it's a mutual reception, because Sag normally belongs to Jupiter. Jupiter belongs in the sign of Sagittarius, and normally the moon belongs to the sign of Cancer. So they're both in each other's sign. They have like a hotline where they can call each other and where they can help each other out, which makes it a very potent full moon. Another important thing is that if we look at the ruler of this full moon, which is, of course, Jupiter, Jupiter is in Cancer, which belongs to the moon, so they're reversed, but Jupiter is also conjunct Mercury, and Mercury rules where the sun is. So Mercury is dispositing the sun, Jupiter is dispositing the moon, so they're all interconnected and all intertwined with each other, which makes it very, very interesting, because the moon usual is very wild and optimistic in the sign of Sagittarius, but now it's layered with an emotional sensitivity and also a bigger ancestral memory, because Jupiter is now in the sign of Cancer. So it's like an emotional quest and a big search for truth that resonates deeply within, and not just intellectually, Gemini, but at the soul level, Sagittarius. So the 20 degree, it echoes the qualities of the depths and the underworld and the things that are lingering beneath the surface. So yeah, this full moon, it brings way more than just optimism. It becomes a very powerful point of emotional intensity, deep psychological insight, and this profound inner change that will happen. And where Sagittarius seeks external knowledge, Scorpio's influence turns the spotlight really inward. So can be big breakthroughs about our deepest beliefs, our traumas, our fears. And by uncovering these subconscious beliefs, we can look more closely at them and how they've silently shaped our worldview. And many of us are going to feel called to confront these emotional truths that we've been avoiding, particularly if they have been standing in the way of your growth. So yeah, this can be a catharsis. It can be about vulnerability and about releasing our fears and deep-seated emotions and long-held beliefs that no longer serve us. So yeah, very powerful full moon. And another thing that I want to go deeper on is that we have 2 eclipse seasons in a year. So we had the first one in March, the other one comes 6 months later. Now we're in the middle of that. We're now at 3 months since we had the eclipse season, which means that we're in halfway through both eclipse seasons. And whenever there's a full moon happening, within 3 months of each eclipse season, it has this eclipse energy integrated inside of itself. Because if you look at the chart, the moon squares the north node and the south node. There's a big T-square, grand cross, which I will go deeper into that in just a bit. But just know that it's not just like a particular full moon. This one is really, really big. And I think we can already agree upon that. If you look what's happening in the outside world and at the higher levels of our world leaders and all that, it's going wild, I guess. So this is really the moment where we can be like fed up and be like, okay, I'm over it. I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to expose what my deeper layers are saying to me. And I'm just going to like surrender, and the dam is breaking. Everything is coming out. And by doing and just like allowing all of the deep, intense emotions, there can be a very, very big turning point reached for a lot of people. And Hannah says moon in Cancer, and thank you so much, Hannah, for the super chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then Becca says truth revealing personally and in society. Yes, exactly. And the American zodiac being revisited, it's all about freedom. Yes, for America, it's going wild, and I'm gonna explain a bit more about that when we look at the Mars square Uranus in just a bit, because that's why things are bursting right now as well. So a lot of intense energy right now, but it's like this alchemical fire right now. It really burns away what's outdated, and it's helping us rise stronger. So you can ask yourself, what's real, what's meaningful, and what are you willing to fight for? Because this moon is going to bring clarity, even if it arrives through emotional discomfort. So time to trust your gut instincts, especially when the logic of the mind fails to agree. With this lunation, the wisdom that surfaces isn't just intellectual, it's very transformative. So if we then look at the Sabian symbol for today, that is a child and a dog with borrowed eyeglasses. So very interesting Sabian symbol today. At first glance, the image appears very playful, which belongs to the Sagittarius energy, of course. It can be a bit humorous, but it has a deeper meaning that touches on the heart of Sagittarius' quests for knowledge. So the child and the dog, they both represent innocence and instinct, and the eyeglasses, which are borrowed, they really symbolize a temporary lens of understanding, a way of trying someone else's viewpoint in the pursuit of wisdom. So this symbol really captures the theme of curiosity and growth through experience and experimentation. So it really reflects the Sagittarius archetype, and it has this hunger to explore different philosophies, different cultures, and different belief systems. Not necessarily to adopt them, but to see through new eyes. So the borrowed glasses really suggest that the truths we may hold may not be entirely our own. They might be inherited, they might be imposed, they might be assumed. So we're actually invited to examine where our beliefs have come from and whether they still fit us as we grow and mature. So at a higher level, this symbol really calls for humility, for empathy, and another approach of life with this beginner's mind, to question all the assumptions and to welcome unfamiliar perspectives without judgment. And in the context of all the broader transits that we're going through right now, including the Jupiter-Mercury conjunction in Cancer, it encourages us to have compassionate dialogues, to heighten our emotional intelligence, and also to learn through connecting with each other. But it is also a little bit of a warning to, yeah, it also warns us against distorted perception. There can be a lot of idealism with the square to Neptune and Saturn and Aries right now. There can also be selective vision. So really ask yourself and look in the mirror and ask yourself, are you truly seeing the bigger picture, or are we filtering through the truth through a lens that we've been outgrown? So this full moon really asks us to look again, to be gently, to be curious, and have an open heart. So I think it's a very, very beautiful Sabian symbol, and also degree theory right now. So the big grand cross. So there's a mutable grand cross. So most affected signs will, of course, be Gemini, Pisces, Sagittarius, and Virgo, because you guys are the mutable signs. So you are gonna feel most of this energy. And yeah, it's a challenging and dynamic pattern that really creates a feeling of being pulled in 4 different directions at once. So it can be a little bit difficult to really make a choice right now. You can feel like choosing is losing, and it's something I sometimes struggle with a lot, because I have a lot of mutable energy as well. So the powerful configuration, of course, involves the moon in Sagittarius, the sun in Gemini, and the north node in Pisces, and the south node in Virgo. And it's so crazy how everything connects here at this point, because the south node in Virgo, the ruler of that is Mercury. Mercury is conjunct Jupiter, the ruler of this moon. Then the north node is in Pisces. Jupiter is a ruler of Pisces as well. And then Jupiter is in the sign of Cancer, where the moon belongs and naturally belongs to Sagittarius. And then Mercury disposits and rules actually Gemini, where the sun is. Like, this is not normal astrology. So there can be like some kind of a pressure cooker effect. Movement is inevitable. The mutable signs want they want change. They want to adapt. So the tension can be a little bit high, and the outcome can feel both exhilarating and also overwhelming right now. So if you're a Sagittarius, Gemini, Virgo of Pisces, you guys are adaptable by nature and very, very flexible. But when you're caught in this grand cross, your energy can become scattered, you can become indecisive, or it can become all too much to handle. So if you feel a little bit overwhelmed right now, if you're one of those 4 signs, just know that it's normal. And also know, if you're feeling overwhelmed with choices right now, you can feel stretched too thin across too many commitments. And just know that this tension, there is incredible potential for breakthroughs, incredible potential for problem solving, and there can be a big karmic release coming forth from this moment. So this is not just a personal crossroad, it's actually a karmic turning point. And whatever happens right now, it is so meant to be, especially for the 4 mutable signs. The South Node in Virgo is really highlighting our tendency to overanalyze, to micromanage, or to cling to this perfection, while the North Node in Pisces really urges us towards surrender, trust, and the natural or spiritual flow of life. So this is where the tension is right now. It really challenges to integrate knowledge with wisdom and facts with belief, and also logic with meaning, being a full moon in Sag with the sun in Gemini. So because they're connected to the nodes ask us, are we stuck in routines or judgments that prevent us from seeing bigger picture? Or are we ready to leap into the unknown, guided by intuition and faith rather than control? So yeah, for the mutable signs can be a bit more difficult than other times to release control. But yeah, just know that this is a big cosmic recalibration, and it's going to help us break free through these mental limitations, and it's going to help us to embrace a more soulful path forward again. So yeah, just remember that it urges us to choose evolution over repetition, even if the way forward isn't entirely clear just yet. I think a lot of people are stuck in this repetition. They are bored, they are stuck, it's stagnant. Now you get these different options and you're like, whoa, what do I need to choose? Just know, trust your inner compass and know that whatever side or whatever option or whatever decision you're going to choose, you're going to be backed by the universe right now. It is time for change. Change is inevitable and you will just need to surrender. And I know I can say that very well and it seems very easy, but I struggle with it as well. So I don't want to sound like I have all my ducks in a row, because that's not the case. So then let's look a bit more at Jupiter entering Cancer, because that's actually a biggie. I've been looking forward to this for such a long time. So yeah, this is a major planetary shift, and normally every year we have one. This year we have 5. That's incredible. So Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, so it functions here at a very high potential. It's really expressing its expansive, benevolent, protective nature in a very deeply emotional, maternal, and intuitive way. So Jupiter in Cancer here is saying, I'm going to expand where you feel nurtured, where you feel safe right now. I think that is so beautiful. It sets a very powerful emotional tone for this full moon. And yeah, it is transforming Sagittarius fire into something way more soulful, heartfelt, and it is very beneficial energy for emotional healing, because Cancer speaks to our inner foundation. And yeah, Jupiter is now in the moon sign. So the mutual reception really heightens our emotional intelligence and our spiritual sensitivity, and also our desire for safety and connection. So it is like the full moon is speaking directly to Jupiter, and Jupiter is answering straight from the heart. And Jupiter is at 0 degrees of Cancer, which means 0 degrees is one of the world point axis, one of the world axis points like this. And yeah, this is the collective that is entering a brand new chapter that blends philosophy with emotional authenticity. So yeah, when we have planets at the world axis, we can see Saturn and Neptune at Aries, beginning of Aries. We have Jupiter at the beginning of Cancer. So all the cardinal signs, which are of course Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, they represent the 4 seasons. So whenever there's a planet at 0 degrees of one of the cardinal signs, there are massive global things going on. And I think we can really see that right now. And Jupiter in the sign of Cancer will also be on a more collective level, be about homeland security and borders and the nation, because it's Cancer and the people, protecting the people and trying to, have more, keeping the people safe and protected. That is also Jupiter. It acts as a protector. So, if you have things in water, or if you are a Cancer, you can move, you can reconnect with family, you can expand the home, or deepen emotional bonds. But of course, as always, I will make a whole Jupiter in Cancer video and what that will do for your own personal chart. So what does abundance mean if it doesn't truly feel like home? And what kind of future are we building, and does it nourish us? Jupiter in Cancer begins to tend all the fire with this sweet devotion. So if we then look at the Jupiter-Mercury connection, they are conjunct with each other right now. It's mental clarity and articulation that belongs to Mercury, and it gets infused with Jupiter's energy of vision, optimism, and also philosophical reach. So happening in the sign of Cancer, the sign of nurturing and emotional sensitivity. So when these two planets come together, there's a big opportunity to merge our rational thought with a lot of emotional depth. So it can create speech and ideas that help heal, protect, and inspire, and make things larger and bigger. And because this conjunction happens in the sign of Cancer, the traditional domain of the moon, it's about communication now becomes less about facts and more about feelings. So it can also be that our ideas are not just logical anymore. Jupiter is out of Gemini in a few days. Jupiter in Gemini was ideas and logic and facts and an information tsunami. Now it jumps to Cancer, so it's going to be infused with gut instinct, with ancestral knowledge, and this emotional truth. So, and when the planet of talking and the planet of expansion comes together, there can be a very big announcement, a very big, deep conversation about how you feel safe and secure. It's actually an ideal time for emotional processing through conversation and for expressing love and care through words. So yeah, and also for imagining futures that feel safe and meaningful. So from a collective standpoint, this alignment can really inspire new policies, new narratives, or new movements that are more rooted in compassion, especially those themes that are centered around home, family, security, national identity, homeland security are all things that are going to be widely expanded by Jupiter now in that sign. So yeah, the union really bridges the two rulers of the full moon and the opposing signs, Mercury ruling Gemini, where the sun is, Jupiter ruling Sagittarius, where the moon is. And yeah, it's a potential for inner reconciliation between logic and belief. I really love Sagittarius and Jupiter. I was born with Jupiter in the sign of Sagittarius in the 3rd house. That's why I love speaking about all of these things, and it's also why I sometimes keep on going for 2 hours. I really need to refrain myself. Sometimes Jupiter in the 3rd house in Sagittarius can be a lot of talking, but that's like on a side note. But just know that we don't have to choose between the head and the heart. Now, this is a time to honor both in a beautiful alignment with each other. So yeah. It's also a reminder that our greatest wisdom emerges when we speak from our soul. So yeah, if you need to say something, just say it. And Becca says, it's a fact, we have feelings. Yes, and of course you, Becca, with so many Cancer placements, you have such a tough shell and you are such a strong, tough woman, but I know on the inside you are so, so soft and sweet. And Becca says, what about making the world safe for children? No more missing, stolen children. Well, I think that was what the Mars retrograde in Leo was all about. What we saw from November until January, February. I think a lot of things in regarding to what you're mentioning have come to the surface. I think there will be, yeah, it causes a lot of impact. I hope it will be less now after we went through the retrograde of Mars. But yeah, we know what the dark arts people are doing, and yeah, I don't know if we will be fully able to stop them. So yeah, I think the best thing you can do to heal that is to heal your own inner child and to just keep on working on ourselves. And I want to thank everyone for supporting me and for being here today and for tuning into these videos, because by listening to this and working on yourself, you're healing the collective by taking your own responsibility. And sometimes I think that is our purpose. And some people are looking so hard for their purpose, but I think sometimes we are being too hard on ourselves, and we are looking while deep inside of us, we already know what we need to do. But thank you, Becca, and I hope the missing children will be brought back safely home. So the next thing I want to touch on is the square that we're going to see, because I'm very excited for Jupiter entering into Cancer, but it's going to be a little bit of a tough start with the square to Saturn and Neptune. Jupiter seeks to grow, to dream, to envision what's possible, while Saturn really sets these boundaries and demands structure and discipline, and it insists on these daily reality checks. So there can be a big desire for emotional abundance and growth within the family, but in the beginning, it's going to be tested by Saturn and Aries. It can bring some pressure to act independently, to take full responsibility, and also to prove your courage through discipline. And that can create a little bit of back and forth between that. We have been through two squares between Jupiter and Saturn. There was a conjunction that started in the 2020s. We all know what happened back then. Now we see the first consequences with the squares of Saturn and Jupiter. And during the conjunction, they tried to implement and forces a lot of, how do I say it so the algorithm of YouTube doesn't hate me? They've tried to install a lot of pressure and a lot of, they try to let us obey to certain administration, QR codes, and all these other implementations that they try to force on us. Now we see the first square. So now there's resistance. The pandemic treaty got approved. So I'm sure the implementation of all these digitalization and now what comes out in America, that you need to scan your eye of your iris in order to be approved on the internet and all these things. More control through AI, more control through trying to suppress our identity. Saturn and Aries and Jupiter now enlarging that, and resistance is going to come forth from that. But more on that later. So yeah, there's a very big push and pull dynamic, and it can manifest as feeling torn between our emotional desire and our external limitations. For example, wanting to move, wanting to nurture, wanting to build a home, but having to face restrictions related to time, money, energy, or confidence, and trying to change something in that so it can go smoother in the near future. So yeah. On a collective level, the Saturn-Jupiter square can be in a conflict between public hope and these institutional caution. I think we're also going to see that in the housing markets, in immigration policies, and also in national security issues that are going to highlight the clash between these welcoming expansion and trying to preserve control. So that's something that we need to go through right now. But it's also only in the beginning. When Jupiter enters Cancer, after a few weeks, we will be through that energy. So the deeper lesson here about the square is that there is growth, but through moderation. Take it step by step. Don't be impulsive. Don't do a cold turkey. Saturn really asks us to slow down, to clarify the vision, and also make sure that our dreams have roots. And also know that the square, it is not a stop sign, it is a course correction. So it's going to help us to refine a path that so that expansion is sustainable and not impulsive. So yeah, it's inner maturity and thoughtful action. Another biggie that we're seeing right now is the Mars square Uranus. And that is like electrified tension. Mars is in Leo, Uranus is in Taurus. It's one of the most unpredictable and unstable aspects in astrology, a Mars square Uranus. We know that this triggers sudden events, emotional outbursts, can be about accidents, rebellion against control, can be about, for example, because I have been talking about the world axis, when Uranus was at 0 degrees of Aries. That was back in 2011, I guess. We had Hiroshima. At the moment of Hiroshima, Mars was square Uranus. And I want to thank Eva, because Eva, one of my friends, she brought this to my attention. And it's something repetitive that we can see. I'm not saying it's going to be on such a big global scale, because Uranus right now is not on the world axis. But a square between Mars and Uranus can bring dramatic weather events, dramatic seismic activity. The tectonic plates always get triggered with Uranus, and Mars, it is explosion, fire, conflict, challenge, things getting bruised, hurt, burnt. So yeah, the Mars square Uranus is always something very, it is like destabilizing. And that's also why we're seeing this drama between Trump and Elon. I personally think it's done by design. It's just the destabilization of a nation. It's on purpose, but that's just how I feel about it. But Donald Trump has a late Leo rising. I think it's 28, 29 degrees Leo rising, which means that Mars right now is on his rising. So whenever Mars comes on the rising, I saw it happening in clients' charts when I was doing readings. When I see it pop up, I always warn people for aggression, bruises, cuts, burns. And yeah, I had some clients calling me 2-3 weeks after and saying me like, oh, I just went out to grab a beer and someone just hit me in the face. And I'm like, yeah, well, when you have Mars on the rising, there is aggression that comes from you or that gets projected onto you. So that's actually where Trump is going through right now. And it's almost his birthday, so it's infused in his solar return, which means he's gonna have to deal with this kind of shit for like his next solar year. So yeah, Mars square Uranus, it's always rebellion, friction, destabilization. Mars in Leo wants to stand out and perform and take center stage, but it crashes into Uranus and Taurus, the planet of rebellion, also the planet of technology, and also the planet of radical change. So there's always these unexpected consequences, destabilizations, in particularly in particular areas where we thought that we were safe, or in things that we thought that were predictable. Like we saw Elon and Musk being best friends forever for quite a period of time, and now it's like a very radical change that happens in that. And it's a beautiful example how it manifests globally and how it can manifest into our life as well. So Uranus is always expecting unexpected things that feel safe, that feel boring, that feel routine, the status quo. Uranus shakes it up. So yeah, and because Uranus is in Taurus, it can be about money, security, food, land, the body, which are all Taurus themes. So yeah, this is not financial advice, but we are going to see the markets fluctuate under this energy. We can see system failures, and yeah, just things even in the food chain that get disruptive. That can also be a possibility, or just earthquakes or severe weather events where Mother Earth shakes us up and asks for recognition as well. So on a personal level, this square really asks us, where are you ready to break free, but are afraid to leap? It can really ignite breakthroughs and confidence and courage for you in order to make the leap. So it has a positive side as well. Not everything is bad or good. If you know how to work with the energy, you can really take your advantage from it. So and also, the square tension is a warning against impulsivity, can have a lot of consequences. So maybe not the best time to fully rush or to provoke or to leap without thought. Channel the raw energy constructively and take time and avoid unnecessary drama. Mars and Leo, that is drama time. And hopefully we're not going to see too many shocking weather disasters. I hope we won't see big earthquakes or volcanoes. Uranus is also a planet and lord of the sky, so it can also trigger immense solar storms, and the geomagnetic energy and frequency can shift in a very volatile way, which can leave people very tired and have some brain fog and all of that. So and Uranus also rules electricity and the internet, so there can be a major cyber attack as well. But yeah, this square has a lot of impact on celebrities, royals, kings, queens, leaders of the world, because they are resembled by Leo. So yeah, that's a bit more intense. And Arno, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you, Arno. That is so sweet of you. Yes, Emma, exactly. Generous people here today. Yeah, I think they're feeling the enthusiasm as well. So it's time for a change. So and Emma also, Becca also says, how about energy inventions now? Yeah, well, I think energy, I'm gonna maybe switch it like this a little bit. I think whenever Uranus is gonna switch into Gemini on July the 7th, that we will see a big invention in regards to cars, planes, phones, but it can also be about 0 point energy and about what they're doing in CERN and how they are messing up with our timelines, and how there are multiple realities in one world, and like all these things are gonna be they're gonna be a massive subject. And I've already prepared a little bit for my video of Uranus shifting into Gemini, and that will be a very, very interesting video where I will go very deep into that. But yeah, energy inventions, yeah, we know for such a long time, Nikola Tesla, he already invented such a beautiful things back in the 1920s. And like, yeah, if we would have listened, and if our world wasn't corrupted by people who only want to make money, then free energy would have been long available for all of us. And hopefully we'll see some new breakthroughs in that. I really hope that. And Uranus and Gemini really is going to push that. So, okay, the next thing. Yeah, so because Sag is also about rules and judgment and the judicial system, we're going to see very big global headlines related to truth, to justice, to travel through borders, and also ideologies that are going to shift, because there are going to be major debates around immigration, cultural identity, also our religious beliefs. That is all part of Sagittarius. It can also be about academic pursuits and rules that shift into universities and all of that, because Sagittarius is higher wisdom. So it's gonna actually everything having to do with law and rules are going to come into the limelight, and they're going to reveal deep tensions between freedom and control, and people are going to really revolt, and there's going to be a lot of rebellion against the rules that they're going to try to impose on us during this time, because the Mutable Grand Cross that we just saw, it really signals this intense public dialogue and also political friction involving educational system, national philosophies, and also these cultural values. And all of that is under big pressure right now. And because the moon is in Sag and the sun is in Gemini, there is this conflict between the bigger picture meaning and also these very data-driven narratives, and that is going to be front and center during this time. So yeah, we need to keep in mind how to balance spiritual ideals with practical action, and also faith with facts, and also intuition with skepticism. And yeah, we're gonna see new movements that are gonna challenge these outdated narratives, and these new movements are gonna demand truth-telling in institutions, especially in media and religion, in law, and also in academics. So yeah, the Mars-Uranus square it is like it creates this necessary destabilization in order to have some new momentum built in a better way. So what truths are we collectively being asked to face, even if it's uncomfortable? So we know that the energy is chaotic, but it can be very, very catalytic as well. So yeah, it's time for self-reflection for individuals, but also for big institutions. So yeah, I think that's very, very obvious with everything that's going on right now. So and Margot says, yay, Astrid, my favorite girl, watching from this. Thank you so much, Margot, for joining. And Becca says, this sounds like a destabilizing time and chaotic to destroy the old structures. Yes, exactly, the old structures. Yeah, we have like this, it's all just breaking apart here right now. If I look what's happening at my job, if I look at my local community, things are just breaking down in order to, it just needs to get wiped away so something new can emerge. So yeah, these are like, it's like the global earth is going through a birthing process, and we're like in the midst of this peristalsis, and we're all having these cramps, like what the hell is going on? But it's very, very necessary. And I think 2026, especially March, from that moment, we will, the old world will have ended. And we're going to have a big, big preview of that whenever Uranus is going to enter Gemini on July 7th. And the week before and after that, that is going to be a crazy time. I'm just going to put it out there. A lot of people are going to lose their minds because change is going to come so fast that people are going to be very overwhelmed. And a lot of people, it's going to make a lot of people's heads spin. So just to keep it in mind, if it gets a little bit more chaotic during end of June, beginning of July, middle of July, it's just normal, and we're going through the birthing process. And I think we're going to see a sneak peek of what's new that's coming into our lives. But then during the fall for the Northern Hemisphere in September, Saturn and Neptune will go back to Pisces, to the final and last degrees of the zodiac wheel, and that will be the time when our old life will end and a new one will get born. And a lot of people are gonna lose their job, have a divorce, gonna have to move, and if you're not picking up on the signs right now, then you're gonna be forced to do it. That's why it's smart to really look into yourself, where you feel resistance, where you want change but are afraid to do so. If you're not able to draw upon the courage to do it yourself, you're going to be forced during the later months of this year, and then it can be uncomfortable for sure. So, and Renee Walker says, we just have to be careful of the new structures that they want to put us in. Exactly, Renee, because a lot of people are cheering for Trump because he's leaving the WHO, which is a good thing, of course. But with his new Sam Altman guide and the whole AI thing and the scanning of the iris and all of that thing, we're going to have to be very, very careful. Exactly. And they just approved the pandemic treaty, and oh wow, what a coincidence, a new variant or a new strain of COVID is on its way. So I'm not going to say it will be a lockdown time again, but they're going to do their best to try to confine us and confine our identity with Saturn and Neptune together in ARIES. I think we're not done yet, and a lot of people are finally getting over everything that happened in 2020, but I'm like, we're going to see a very big consequence from that, and we're not done yet. That's like what I wanted to mention. And Hannah says, saw a great interview on Gaia with Patrick Flanagan and Meredith, where he explains there is enough resources for all. Interesting and hopeful interview. yeah, of course there are enough resources for all. Like they always want to try to tell us that we're with too much people, and cow farts are like destroying the earth, and a lot of people are trying, finally starting to see through that. And of course there are enough resources for everyone, but if 1% of the world controls them all, then we're just screwed. Like, and I think that needs to change, but we're not done yet. In 2028, Saturn and Pluto will make their first square, and Pluto and Saturn were on top of each other in 2020. Saturn is restriction, Pluto is control and domination. Whenever they meet, we see very terrible things happening in the world. And that's what we saw during the pandemic. In 2028, they will make their first square. So summer 2028, all the way until 2030, 2032, we are going to see another evolution in what was planted in 2020. So yeah, if you can join a community where they grow their own food, or yeah, we're just going to see humanity, we're going to see them split into two parts. One that is going to choose a transhumanistic agenda, and one that is going to connect with the more natural way of life. So we will see a very, very big divide coming in the next 5-10 years. So yeah, I don't know how it will play out, but the summer of 2028, things will become very obvious. So and Stain says, lose jobs, divorce, move. I have done it all already, so now what? Well, Stain, I'm not going to say that you are going to be immune to the Uranus in Gemini. For that, I would need to look at your own personal chart. But if you have done it all already, then you know how to handle it. And I guess, how do I say it in English? Dan ben je al een stapje voor. If you already have experienced all these kind of influences, then you know how to handle it. And you also already know that even if you go through all these sudden shocks and surprises, that it turns out well. And mostly when you divorce someone, that someone more beautiful comes forward. And if you get fired at your job, that the more beautiful job offer is waiting on you around the corner. So yeah, good one, Stain. Thank you. Okay, I am digressing. Oh my God, I'm already an hour into this video, so I'm gonna quickly shift to the rituals, because yeah, maybe some of you will need to do that, especially me as well. So of course, Sagittarius is fire energy. So yeah, the element to work with is fire. If you can make a huge campfire outside, you can just write a list what you want to release, especially from your belief system. You can just put it into the fire and let it burn away all your insecurities and all the things that have kept you small. Another thing to do or to practice during this full moon is speaking your truth and observing how people react to that. If you do it, you can gain more clarity about your path forward. But be careful that you don't piss people off with the Mars square Uranus, because there's yeah, very chaotic energy, and people can be a bit shocked. So I always say shock therapy is good, but only to a certain degree. So then the chakra that you can work with is the third eye chakra, also the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is connected to that's the Svadhisthana, that is connected to adventure, passion, and freedom. So the sacral chakra, it is the center of movement, emotion, desire, and joy. And Sagittarius is actually connected to two chakras, also to the third eye chakra, which is the Anya. And because Sagittarius has this higher wisdom, has higher learning, is very, very truth-seeking, and then it's connected to the third eye. So it's about expanding your perception. And the third eye chakra, of course, governs intuition, inner wisdom, and spiritual insight, which is all connected to Sag. So focus on these two chakras, do fire release ritual, safely burn your paper, and also if you want to journal, you can ask yourselves, or you can write down, what truth do I need to live more fully? What did I set to explore or achieve since December 2024, and do I need to take more action on that right now? And also, where have I outgrown my beliefs or my limits? And what does freedom really mean to me? Write it down, don't edit it. It's for emotional insight and not for perfection, because Mercury rules the South Node in Virgo. We need to release our perfection, especially me. But if you then want to work with some sacred herbs, you can use sage, you can use rosemary, you can use cinnamon. These are all incense or herbs that you can steep it in tea. You can use it in your dishes, and that is also going to help you to really attract the Sagittarius energy in a good way. Then if we look at the crystals for this full moon, we have turquoise. It's for protection and honest communication. It is the birthstone of Sagittarius. I really like turquoise. It's so beautiful. Then if you want to implement a little bit of candle magic, you can light a purple or royal blue candle, because that is going to activate the Sagittarius energy. Focus on your third eye chakra. You can also speak intentions such as, I open my mind to wisdom and I walk my path of truth. Then an amethyst is for spiritual clarity and inner peace. And then the blue topaz really enhances mental capabilities and really ushers us into awakening of our truest capabilities. So you can carry them around, you can meditate with them, or you can just place them on your altar, or you can place them on your list of intentions. So it can all bloom very beautifully. And then Hannah says, yep, he talks about that 1% and how we will have to make a choice to use it for the good. Yeah, well, Hannah, please explain me how we can use the 1% for good, because I don't think the 1% is good for anything, but maybe that's too pessimistic. Maybe this is where I need to change my belief system. So please explain yourself further, Hannah, but thank you for adding this into the video. Actually, it's such a puppet show. It's such a circus, all these people that rule the world. I think it says a lot about our collective state of mind. And hopefully, if we all work on ourselves, that they will need to, they will feel the energy, and we will need to raise their vibration, I guess, because I don't think they will do it for us. But we're going to start the readings for the 12 signs. And if you don't know your rising sign, you can go to astroseek.com, choose birth chart, then fill out your birth information. And by doing that, you need to look at the first big black line. In this case, in this chart, it is a Capricorn rising. So then you know which sign to listen to first. And we're going to start with my Aries, my dear fellow Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising. How are you guys doing? You're going to have a powerful full moon in Sag. And of course, it's in your 9th house. It is the domain of wisdom, travel, philosophy, and your long-range vision. So as a fellow fire sign, Sag forms a natural trine to your rising sign or your sun or moon, so really amplifying your desire to expand your horizons, to pursue new adventures, and it's also going to challenge old belief systems that no longer resonate with who you're becoming right now. So there's a cosmic invitation to reclaim your personal truth, whether that's through higher education, a new study, a new course that can be spiritual exploration, meditation, or stepping outside of familiar territory, which can be sometimes a little bit hard. But now this full moon really infuses you with its energy, and it's going to help you break free and have more wisdom and freedom. So there's a very big growing awareness around your mental patterns, your communication style, your immediate environment. The moon is really pushing you to look beyond the day-to-day and to reconnect with your greater sense of purpose. The ninth house is the house of purpose. So you can have these sneak peeks from the universe where you really belong or where you need to go towards. So just know that the full moon also activates a grand mutable cross. So it's placing a bit pressure on you to shift your internal landscape. The involvement of the North Node and Pisces, it is in your 12th house, points to a quiet spiritual awakening. While on the other side, we have the South Node and Virgo in your 6th house, and that challenges you to release limiting routines, perfectionism, and this over-analysis. So meanwhile, Mercury and Jupiter are conjunct in Cancer in your 4th house, really spotlighting growth and healing within your home and family life. So you might be having some very, very deep emotional conversations with relatives, with your mother. That by doing that, you can reconnect yourself to your roots more and more wholesome way. Or you can also consider a relocation or a major lifestyle shift. However, just know that Jupiter is squaring Saturn and Neptune both in Aries in your sign. So a part of you might feel a bit unclear or a bit hesitant about the next big step forward. Just trust that this is a part of a broader process and your worldview is evolving right now. And the best way forward may be to stay very curious, flexible, adaptive, and explore new ideas. Don't be scared of it. It will provide you a lot of happiness and liberation and freedom and optimism. So allow clarity to come through these lived experiences and don't search for these immediate answers. Clarity will come whenever you take the step forward in the right direction. So good luck, my dear Aries. We have Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are going to have a full moon in Sagittarius in your 8th house. It is the deepest and most deep psychologically charged sector of your chart. It is the domain of intimacy, shared finances, emotional entanglements, debts, taxes, and also personal transformation. So Sagittarius doesn't naturally align with Taurus. It forms a quincunx to your rising sun or moon, meaning that this full moon may bring up some issues that catch you off guard, or you might feel that the challenges are a bit difficult to grasp at first, but you might also be dealing with surprise developments in joint financial matters. That can be loans, can be inheritances. It can also simply be about your partner's income. Emotionally, this is a time that really pushes you to confront any unspoken fears or vulnerabilities around trust and dependence. So some of you, my dear Taurus, are going to feel a need to protect your privacy. Maybe some of you are going to want to withdraw slightly to process deeper emotion. And yeah, it's not about surface level change, but more about radical emotional growth. And whenever things happen in the 12th or the 8th house, they are happening in mystical houses. It cannot be so boom in your face. It can happen more in the background. And when you look back on it, that after a while or after a certain period of time, you're like, whoa, this moon was such a deep emotional change, but while it was happening, it wasn't that obvious. So I hope for you, because when things get obvious in the 8th house, that can be quite overwhelming. So, and because I say this because there's a very big grand mutable cross going on, and it's really pushing tension across your 2nd house of money, your 8th house of money. It is money you earn versus money you share, and with the North Node in the 5th, and it's about joy and self-expression, and the South Node is in the the North Node in the 11th, excuse me, and the South Node in the 5th. It's also about social networks. It's about group expectations versus you that want to express yourself and have joy. And there can be some friction in that. So there's a deep inner shift around what you truly value versus how much you give away to others, and whether your relationships and group dynamics really reflect that word. Maybe something needs to change in that. But on a more positive note, Mercury and Jupiter are conjunct in your 3rd house, and they are currently making a sextile to your planet Venus, which entered your sign. So your home planet entered your sign, which is very good for finances, for love, for enjoying the finer things in life. And because it sextiles Jupiter and Mercury, the ruler of this full moon in your 3rd house, it's there's a big emphasis and happiness around communication, around short-term travel, around local networking, and there can even be a very beneficial financial negotiation going on. So if you want to sign a contract, or you want to buy a new vehicle, or want to enter a new educational project, this is a very good time to do that. However, Saturn and Neptune are lingering in your 12th house, so there's a sense of needing to keep plans close to your chest, maybe until they're fully formed. Maybe it would be wise not to say everything to everyone right now. Remain centered and intuitive, and know that there's a powerful shift in both your emotional and your material world going on. So make good use of this energy. So good luck, my dear Taurus. We have Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have the full moon in Sag in your 7th house of relationships, partnerships, and contracts. And it's putting a spotlight on the people in your life who really reflect and challenge you. People who are actually operating as a mirror. So, of course, for Gemini, it's important because it's in your opposite sign. Sagittarius and Gemini is the other polarity in the chart, the opposite polarity. So yeah, it's about your dynamic with others, and there's like a very, very big spotlight being put on your relationships. If you're married, there can be some friction, but yeah, it can be a romantic partner, it can be a business associate, it can be about a close friend, or even a therapist or a mentor. This full moon is really bringing you an opportunity to redefine the terms of your connections, and if they really reflect your growth still. So some Geminis are going to experience a very, very, a very big emotional breakthrough with a significant other, while others are going to be ending a bond that no longer reflects their own truth. So it depends on your own natal chart. Like, guys, these are general readings. If it makes a trine in your own natal chart, there can be a breakthrough in even your partner's life. If this moon makes squares in your chart, then it can be that some business associate or some big important relationship is going to come to an end in the next few weeks. Just know that, of course, the Gemini season, the sun is in your 1st house. It's really shining its light on your identity and how your identity has been evolving since December, when we had the new moon in Sagittarius. Look at what's shifted in your personal identity since that moment. I think with the Mars retrograde as well, that a lot of things shifted since the fall of 2024 until now. So yeah, if a person doesn't grow with you, then they're actually silently keeping you stuck, and that can cause some friction right now, whether that's in business or more romantic. So so yeah, the sun in your 1st house is about your identity, your goals that are shifting, and also there can be personal clarity that is rising through the surface right now with the sun in your sign. But the moon in the 7th really signals that someone close to you is also experiencing emotional shifts inside of themselves, and maybe the balance of the relationship must adjust accordingly. And what intensifies this whole story is, of course, Gemini, you are a mutable sign. You're very flexible, very adaptable. You need to move. But there's a grand mutable cross. So it is linked to your identity, Sun in Gemini. And is also linked to your relationships, Moon in the 7th, and the North Node and the South Node. So the North Node is in your place of career, and the South Node is in your home area. So whenever there's a South Node in your 4th house, there can be something that needs to be released from your home of family. So yeah, it's actually it's happening in angular houses, immutable angular houses. This is about the foundation of your life that gets like massively triggered right now. The 4 points I just mentioned, these are in angular houses. These are very sensitive points. They are tied to your private foundations, the home, the family, your emotional security, and your public life, your career, reputation. So yeah, it is possible you and a partner are weighing major life changes. That can be a relocation, can be a job move, or a shift in family dynamic or family planning. Meanwhile, we also see Mercury and Jupiter conjunct in your 2nd house of money. So that can bring the promise of shared financial goals or something changing in that. Of course, if someone moves out, there's going to be a big discussion about how to split finances with Jupiter and Mercury in your 2nd house right now. It can also be about a very beautiful new opportunity, about a new smart investment that you can make that really benefits your partnership. Again, depending on how it acts in your own personal chart. It could also manifest as purchasing property together. It can be about launching a business together, or simply building a new future that is more aligned with your intentions and the way you've grown. So yeah, be a bit aware, because the Jupiter and Mercury conjunction is squaring your 11th house, where Neptune and Saturn are currently in. So whatever decision you're making right now, others may not fully support or understand your choices. And the 11th house is your friendship. It is networking as well. So maybe some of you are going to bump into someone new. Some of you might divorce. Some of you might make a whole foundational shift. And your friends can be like, what are you doing? And like, please tell me. And your friends are going to be like, I have difficulty understanding why this is happening. So, but just one advice for you, my dear Gemini, is that keep your plans private, keep your plans protected. The clarity that you need will come, but only once your emotional and practical dust has settled. And I know maybe now you feel a little bit in the mist, difficulty knowing where you're heading with the grand mutable cross happening in one of yours, in your sign as well. So just know that things will be okay, even if you can't see it fully yet. So good luck, my dear Gemini. We have Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. The full moon in Sagittarius is going to illuminate your 6th house of daily routines, work, health, work habits, health habits, responsibilities, service towards others. But also the 6th is the house of stress. Whenever we have a full moon, something can be released. Maybe you're going to be released from some kind of service, from some kind of job, from some kind of health issue that gives you a lot of happiness, because Jupiter is entering your sign just 2 days before this full moon on June the 11th. So very positive for my dear Cancer. Yeah, you're going to be so happy. There's a lot of abundance in your, if it's your rising sign, in your identity. If it's your sun sign, there can be expansion in your career. If it's your moon sign in Cancer, a big expansion in your emotions, in your family, in children, and taking care of others as well. So just know that the 6th house represents the sun is in the 12th. This house represents the behind the scenes rhythm of life, and the full moon in the 6th, that is like the practical daily routines. So there can be a moment of clarity, completion, and even disruption regarding your wellness routine, your work schedule. It can also manifest in relationships with coworkers. And Sag energy is very fast moving and very freedom seeking. So if you've been overextending yourself, especially in the work area, or if you're trying to impose too much structure on a lifestyle that needs more flexibility, something is going to pop up now. And it can be in regards to health, actually. So just know that the full moon is bringing unexpected news that is related to your job, your health, and even changes in how you manage your time. So your schedule can change, or the way how you fill out your schedule can also change. So we also know that Sagittarius energy is quincunx to Cancer. So yeah, you might feel a little bit out of sync at first, but you need to take these sudden necessary adjustments that bring better balance between your structure and daily spontaneity. We also know that this full moon is in a powerful conjunction with ruler Jupiter in your sign. Mercury and Jupiter are together in your first house, and that is directly impacting your physical body, your mindset, and also your confidence. So if you have not been struggling with health issues, then Jupiter is giving you protection. If you have been neglecting your health and your stress levels, now that Jupiter is going to enter your sign, especially if it's a rising sign, if it's conjunct your rising, then it can even expand health issues. Also, be careful, if Jupiter conjuncts the rising sign, you can gain a couple pounds. So yeah, because of the good life. So be mindful of that. But just know these two planets meeting in your sign, you're going to feel more optimistic, more expressive, and also more mentally attuned than usual. So there can also be a very positive momentum building for you, for changes to your diet, for exercise, and your overall lifestyle. Especially if you've been actively working towards personal improvement. It's about improving your personal identity. And Cancer risings especially are going to receive positive news about a new job offer, a new position. And especially, like, one of the luckiest days for you, my dear Cancer, is around August the 11th. Jupiter and Venus are going to conjunct each other in the sign of Cancer. So, and that will happen at the 14th of 16th degree. I forgot which degree. So if you're a middle Cancer, sun, moon, or rising, this aspect happens on your placements, and you're gonna have a great time in August. So from now on until even next summer, there's a lot of abundance, a lot of improvement in your emotions. There can be an overwhelming new emotions coming in as well. But just know that now is the time to tighten and lighten up your schedule. Get clear about your boundaries, really release stress, enjoy the positive influence of Jupiter in your sign, make time for it, make time for family, and also make self-care non-negotiable. This is a very important reset for you. Treat your body well, because everything else is built on it. And if you tend to care for your own body, then this will be a very, very happy period for you. So good luck, my dear Cancer. Stain says, so this is my big transit, Cancer rising, Aquarius, Sun, Libra, Moon. Yes, exactly. And if you're middle degrees, Cancer rising, then August 11 will be, it's going to be astrologically one of the best days of the entire year. And that is like for Cancer, if you have Cancer placements. So enjoy the summer. It's going to be a good one. And Emerald Pat says, that's so cool. In Cancer 6th house, I'm being offered a special job. Oh my God, Emma, that is so cool. Like, I love you guys whenever you like confirm what I'm saying, or if something that I see in the astrology is happening in your lives. That makes me so happy. And I know, Becca, you have tons of Cancer placements in the middle degrees, so the Venus-Jupiter conjunction is gonna happen, I think, almost exactly on your rising sign as well. So all you guys are so lucky. Please let me know whatever happens for you in August. I am wishing you good luck. Then we have Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are going to have the full moon in Sag, putting a very fiery spotlight into your 5th house of creativity, pleasure, joy, attraction, romance, self-expression. So yeah, this is a very frisky, feisty, lovable full moon for you, my dear Leos. And in the 5th is a part of the chart that resonates very closely with you because it's Leo identity. The 5th house traditionally belongs to Leo. So it naturally aligns with your ruling themes. So yeah, this is an invitation for you to celebrate, to have joy, to follow your passion. There can be artistic fulfillment. And for many Leo risings, there could be a peak moment for a creative project in a romantic relationship, or a major milestone that involves your children. And with the supportive trine from the moon to your Leo placements as well, and also Mars in Leo, this is like there's a sense of big magnetism, an increase or a boost in confidence, and also emotional vitality that is surrounding you. So enjoy this full moon. Whenever you have a full or a new moon in the 5th, like those are the best. So if you feel inspired, take a risk. Launch something that is that came from the heart, or simply embrace freedom to enjoy your life more fully. It could also mark an important moment of visibility and recognition, and can also be about something you've worked on in regards to others, or maybe you've worked on something and now you're able to share it with others, and others will be very positive about that. So if we add an emotional and intuitive layer to this full moon, we look at the Mercury-Jupiter conjunction, and that is happening in your 12th house. A very subtle placement that suggests some of the most profound breakthroughs are actually currently happening behind the scenes, or even within your subconscious. This could also manifest as a spiritual insight that gives a lot of clarity. There can be a private healing journey taking place. There can also be a need to withdraw a little bit in order to reconnect with your inner voice. So for some, that can involve taking care of children. It can involve supporting loved ones through emotional transitions. Maybe they need your help. It could also be about preparing for a major life event involving family or children or a birth. If you are looking to get pregnant, this is a very good energy to do that. So if you don't want to become pregnant, use precaution, because whenever there's an energy, full or new moon in the 5th house, the fertile energy increases. And also know that there might also be a little bit travel disruptions or changes in your educational plans, with Saturn and Neptune in your 9th house. And they're forming a square to Mercury and Jupiter. So yeah, you need to stay flexible, especially with your evolving beliefs. But still, this full moon is shining with creative potential. Whether you're finishing a script or celebrating love or discovering joy in solitude, the key is to create from the heart, and also to trust in the unseen process unfolding beneath the surface. So make good use of this energy, and I wish you the best of luck. And quickly, Stain says 17 degrees Cancer. I think the exact conjunction is 16 degrees. It's 14 or 16. I would need to check, but it's very close by. So you're one lucky bastard, Stain. Plan something good on August the 11th. Then we have Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. you are gonna have the full moon lighting up your fourth house of home, roots, family, and the emotional foundations of your private life. So the fourth is where we find stability, safety, nurturing, comfort, a sense of belonging. So yeah, it is a powerful full moon that can coincide with moving, buying, selling property. It can be about renovating your space or also revisiting your connection to family or childhood memories that can come to the surface. Just know that Sagittarius forms a square to your rising sign. So yeah, the moon might bring up a bit of surprising shifts or some emotional revelations that feel somewhat outside of your control. And who suffers from control issues? It's Virgo and Scorpio. So yeah, things that are happening outside of your control, it could feel a little bit uncomfortable. As a Virgo rising, I know everything about that, so I'm not just like laughing with you, but actually a little bit with myself. And with the South Node currently being in Virgo, you're being asked to release perfectionism, these micromanaging tendencies, and also the pressure to handle everything at once and alone most of the time, constantly cleaning up after others their mess. Yeah, we need to stop doing that. So the full moon really nudges you towards like the North Node in Pisces, and that is in your seventh house, and that is urging you to embrace collaboration, more empathy. It's like infusing more empathy in relationships, and also deeper emotional trust in your one-on-one relationships. That can be business, romantic, therapeutic, and also adding to this, lunation is a very powerful energy of the ruler of this full moon, which is Jupiter, and it is conjunct Mercury in your 11th house. And the 11th house governs community, friendships, long-term goals. It is also the payout from all the work you've put into the 10th house. So there can be some rewards coming in for you, my dear Virgo, especially Virgo rising. If you've been working your ass off for the last year with Jupiter in 10th house, now a lot of benefits can fall onto your lap because you've worked hard for it. So the 11th house is community, friendships, and with Mercury there ruling your sign, your rising sign, there can be very inspiring and important conversations, breakthroughs with friends. Also, friends can help you with valuable professional connections, or a powerful introduction can happen through social settings as well. So yeah, don't stay at home, go out. Mercury rules your first house and also your 10th house of careers. So if you've been looking to expand your network, align with mentors, or make like a very big shift in your public path, this is a big green light. Also a very beautiful moment to reconnect with your friends, or host gatherings at home. And the full moon also links your private and social spheres together. So and for single Virgos, there's a romantic potential in community spaces or in friendship spaces. You might meet someone special through a friend or through a social event. And if you've been dealing with emotional weight, especially related to some losses or loss of finances or transformation, yeah, Saturn and Neptune are have entered your 8th house. So that's why this is coming from. This moon is gonna, yeah, it's gonna show you that healing doesn't happen in isolation. You need to let others support you, and the right people can help you with what you're rebuilding and with what's shifting at a very deep core level with the things happening in the 8th. So good luck, my dear Virgos. Then we have Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are going to have the full moon in Sag happening in your 3rd house of communication, learning, siblings, the mind, local travel, and also, yeah, being on the road. So, yeah, it's illuminating the themes around how you speak, what you know, how you share your ideas with others. It could also be a very powerful time to finalize a writing project, to dismiss a contract that has been holding you back philosophically or spiritually. And it's also about how you share your ideas with others. So yeah, the third house is also speaking, communicating. So if you want to launch a website, if you want to make a public announcement or complete a course, or you want to get a certification, now it can be completed. But the third house is also about siblings, neighbors, contracts, means of transportation. So these events could also include these themes right now, and something can be culminated in that. And Sagittarius is a sign that harmonizes with Libra through a sextile. So yeah, it brings momentum and opportunity, especially if you've been working on sharing your voice more boldly or stepping into a role as a communicator or a connector. It's also perfect time for short distance travel, for a road trip, for a press release, for anything that involves public speaking or teaching. Also worth to mention is that this moon is intertwined with a grand mutable cross involving your sixth house of work, your sixth house of work and health, also your 12th house of rest and release and withdrawal, and also your third and your ninth house axis. So it's time to speak your truth, to reorganize your schedule, and also to release any mental clutter or some hidden anxieties that are blocking your progress. We also see a Mercury-Jupiter conjunction in your 10th house, and the 10th house is career and public image. And there can be exciting new doors opening for you. There can be more visibility, more success. It can be you that's giving an important announcement in the outside world, or a boss or a father figure can have important news for you. So yeah, a very rare moment to really successfully promote your work, maybe pitch a big idea or share a personal story that really connects you with a wider audience. We also see Saturn and Neptune in your 7th house of partnerships. So yeah, it is squaring this conjunction. So it's clear that the success of your ideas might depend on the clarity and reliability of your key relationships, whether that's a manager, a collaborator, a romantic partner, a business partner. Just know that your words have power during this time, but who you share the spotlight with really matters. So do it with wisdom. The full moon asks you to own your own voice, to trust your own message, and also to allow your story to elevate both your personal growth, but also at the same time your professional path. So let me know what's going on, and I wish you the best of luck, my dear Libra. We have Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are going to have the full moon in Sagittarius happening on June the 11th in your 2nd house of money. So 2nd house is about income, personal resources, self-worth. It is what you accumulate and what you then hold on to. So it's illuminating your financial landscape and the deeper emotional patterns that are tied to your value and your security. So yeah, this moon is really a big signal of a big major financial event that can be a raise, it can be a significant big expense or an unexpected bill that comes in. It could also be a culmination of a long-term investment. And of course, with the sun in your 8th house, which is very much tied to you because traditionally the 8th house belongs to Scorpio. You're being asked to really assess these shared resources and shared debts, and that could spark a transformation in how you manage your money, how you want to merge your assets, or also how you negotiate mutual financial support. It's the give and take axis, the 2nd and the 8th house. It also speaks to self-esteem and emotional trust. So it might not only be about the dollars or the euros, it's also about how you empowered and how resourced you feel yourself if you're able to do it yourself. And something can shift in that. But luckily, the full moon forms a very harmonious trine to Mars, and Mars is of course your chart ruler, currently in the 10th house. It's really highlighting professional momentum, and if you have been working hard behind the scenes, then this lunation is really a mark, or could mark like the moment that all your effort really turns into a tangible reward or tangible gold. And also when you finally recognize the worth of what you've built, something can really start flowing, and money can really come to you. We also see a Mercury-Jupiter conjunction that happens in the 9th house of your beliefs, education, and also exploration, and it really opens up exciting possibilities that are related to higher education, so learning, long-distance travel, or launching something aligned with your larger purpose. Some Scorpio risings are gonna, want to pay for a trip, or enroll in a new course, or make a big decision about relocation, or maybe they're going to publish a big decision. Would be a very good time to make a public announcement or publish something with Mercury, Jupiter in the 9th house. If you have been in a court case, you can have a very important news, or an important letter about the evolution of the court case as well. So, yeah. All these themes are especially potent if you have early degree placements in Scorpio, because Jupiter and Mercury, they're going to form a supportive trine to your sign. But be mindful of the ongoing square between Saturn and Neptune in your 5th house. It can, in your 6th house, excuse me, that can be some block, or a lot of responsibilities in the job, or maybe you feel blocked by your co-workers, or maybe you feel a heavy sense of duty in regards to your daily routines. So yeah, the Grand Mutable Cross adds an extra layer of pressure, really urging you to release any outdated scarcity thinking, and also to embrace a bolder, more abundant vision of your future self. So this full moon invites you to invest in what truly matters, to trust your evolving value system, and also to commit to your growth, whether that's financially, spiritually, personally, but also especially psychologically, with all these things tied together. So good luck, my dear Scorpio. Then we have Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. I totally forgot, but I should have started with you guys, because it's, of course, your full moon. So a very, very important time of year for you, my dear Sagittarius. We have a full moon in your sign happening on June the 11th. It's the one of the most personal and powerful lunations of your entire year, and it's happening, of course, in your 1st house. It places you at the center of the cosmic story right now. The 1st house, of course, represents your identity, body, and how you assert yourself in the world. It's like the cosmic avatar that you're playing here. And when the full moon lands here, especially in your own sign, it often brings a very big wave of emotional awareness, visibility, self-realization, insight, expansive consciousness, feeling connected to the metaphysical realm. So yeah, really, keep your eyes and your ears open, and look for the signs, because the universe is like waving them at you right now. So if your Sun, Moon, or Rising falls between 19 and 21 degrees of Sagittarius, then it is especially activating you. So if it's you, you might find yourself feeling very raw, exposed. You can feel yourself deeply inspired. It's just something within you reaches a peak, or like a big momentum, and there can be a big catharsis, a big emotional release as well happening for you. It could also mean a personal project is ready to launch. Maybe you're showing a new look. Maybe you're setting bold new boundaries in how you relate to others with the Sun in the 7th right now. So you're not the same person you were a few months ago, and people will really notice that right now. So this full moon really affirms that your growth and your glow up and your truth can no longer be hidden. So enjoy your full moon, my dear Sagittarius. Just know that it is opposing the Sun in the 7th, and the 7th is the house of relationships. So The moon puts like her reflecting light on the house of marriage, and it's about evolving your sense of self into a direct conversation with your closest connections. So there's a push and pull between your personal independence and also your relational compromise. It's very, very strong dynamic here. So yeah, the sun and the moon, they form a grand mutable cross with the nodes of fate, with the north nodes and the south node in your fourth and your 10th house of home and career. So these are the angular houses. These are the foundations of the chart. So actually, the foundations of your life can get a bit of a shake-up, or the spotlight is on them right now. So you might feel a little bit, yeah, the big grand mutable cross, it influences your home life, your career, your relationship, and the identity that you embody. So you might feel a bit pulled in multiple directions as you try to align your deepest emotional needs, the North Node in Pisces in the fourth house, with your ambitions and responsibilities and desire for connection with the South Node in the 10th. Something needs to be released and actually need to focus more on the fourth right now. So yeah, it can be a moment of integration where you shed old personas and step into a more emotionally grounded, intuitive version of yourself. So time to redefine how you present yourself, not based on what others want you to be, but on who you truly are becoming. And yeah, amplifying the full moon with the ruler Jupiter and Mercury in conjunction in Cancer in your 8th house. That is really like amplifying deep transformative emphasis with this full moon, and the 8th house governs shared resources, emotional vulnerability, and also financial entanglements, and the 8th is also psychological healing. So all these things, the whole foundation in the chart gets triggered, and then the ruler of the full moon is in the 8th house, the deepest, most transformative psychological house in the chart. So Sagittarius, this can be a very big turning point for you. Yeah, it really suggests that your growth right now is very closely tied to emotional honesty, to intimate conversations, and also can point towards financial recalibration as well. So a turning point in partnerships and shared resources. You can receive a bonus. There can be an emotional discussion around deeper commitments as well. And you might be dealing with issues of trust, sexuality, and emotional merging, and all of which are like a call for more openness, for more courage, and also for a deeper sensitivity. So yeah, you're stepping into a new version of yourself, one that's bolder, wiser, and ready for deeper emotional connections. So enjoy your full moon, my dear Sagittarius. We have Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. The full moon in Sagittarius unfolds in your 12th house. It is the most private, introspective, and spiritually attuned area of your chart. The 12th house is about the unconscious mind, about your dreams, about solitude, hidden fears, and also emotional residue of the past. The 12th also indicates final endings. So lunation here is not all... it's not only about external breakthroughs, it's also about deep inner release. And you might feel a bit more tired. Maybe you want to reflect. Maybe you want to withdraw a little bit under this moon. And that's okay. It's essential if you do it right now. This is a time for cleansing, for closure, and also for, quiet renewal. And you're being asked to let go of something that's been quietly holding space or power over you in your inner world. It can be an old fear. It can be a toxic thought pattern. It can also be a relationship dynamic that you've outgrown. The 12th house are also self-sabotaging tendencies. So by gaining more wisdom, this full moon in Sag can be the karmic turning point where you are able to release self-sabotaging behaviors. So if you withdraw and really reflect and really be honest to yourself, this can be a very big spiritual moment of growth. You're gonna have emotional truth surfacing from the subconscious right now. So pay close attention to your dreams, also to your gut instincts and any emotional waves that crash in unexpectedly. They're really, really guiding you towards healing. We also have a grand mutable cross. It's placing pressure on your mind, your belief system, and also what stands out is that Jupiter, which is the moon's ruler, it is now conjunct Mercury in your seventh house of relationships. So that is an extra big factor. The pairing really suggests there can be major revelations, conversations, and new connections being formed with others right now, particularly those of a close nature in a one-on-one setting. There can be a partner, a new therapist, a coach, someone may reveal something very surprisingly that can be helpful, but it can also be very deeply personal. So yeah, or on the other hand, you could be the one offering clarity or support to someone close to you, but some very big emotional revealing conversation is going to take place in the seventh house of partnerships, marriage, and business associates. So yeah, something is going to be revealed, and it's going to be a truth that can quite feel liberating. So don't be scared to do that. So yeah, a key moment of emotional release and also a readiness to move forward. And if you are single, you might feel like you're on the cusp of being emotionally available again after a period of not being that. And if you have a partner, this could also be a time to deepen your emotional connection or navigate new shared goals or ideas together. But just know that Jupiter, Mercury in the seventh house is squaring Saturn and Neptune in your fourth house of home and family. So I think a very big, for some Capricorns, a very big conversation about marriage is going to take place, and it can like ruffle some feathers in the home area or in your very deep emotional foundation of the chart, because Saturn and Neptune are at the bottom, and that can be a little bit difficult to handle. There can be tension and themes can get highlighted around domestic responsibilities. It can also be about intergenerational healing, or like the pressure to maintain emotional security while stepping into relational growth. And there can be some push and pull dynamic. Some Capricorn risings are going to feel the weight of some family obligations. And there can also be unresolved issues with a parent or a home situation. Just know that this tension really serves a purpose. It really pushes you to clarify what's truly holding you back from letting others in. And don't be surprised if a wise woman figure, a mentor, or a spiritual guide enters your life now with Jupiter in Cancer, and she's going to encourage you to break out of isolation and to really break open your heart fully again. So in the end, the full moon really calls for solitude, not to hide, but to reset, to make space, to rest, reflect, and also shed what's no longer serving you. And through this, a very spiritual or emotional breakthrough is not only possible, it's going to be inevitable. So good luck, my dear Capricorns. Then we have Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are going to have the full moon in Sagittarius happening in your 11th house of friendships, communities, and your future goals. So yeah, the 11th house naturally responds to you because the 11th house in traditional astrology is the house of Aquarius. So very beneficial for you. And Sagittarius makes a sextile to you. So it's very, very supportive. So yeah, it's bringing attention to your place within larger networks, within friend groups, within community. And this can highlight a culmination in a group project. There can be a culmination in some kind of friendship, a significant moment with a friend, or a shift in long-term dreams. And as I said, the moon is sextile Aquarius. So the moon gives you a very supportive undertone, and it's also encourage you to celebrate progress and to seek out aligned connections, and also to say yes to events or collaborations that truly reflect your evolving values. And of course, with the sun in the fifth, there's a push and pull between your group involvement and your personal expression. And we also deal with the grand mutable cross, and that is suggesting that you're learning to balance creativity and authenticity within your social role in community or in your friendships. And it could also bring clarity around who truly supports your vision. And maybe some Aquarius are gonna be surprised a little bit if some kind of friend doesn't truly support their goal or role that they play right now. So the ruler of the full moon, Jupiter, is conjunct Mercury, and that is happening in your sixth house of work, service towards others, health, productivity, house of stress as well. And you might find yourself called to start a new wellness routine or practice. You might join a group or community that's more focused on health or healing. And also you could connect with colleagues in a more meaningful way. However, in the beginning, with Jupiter entering Cancer and Jupiter Mercury conjunct, they right now they're gonna square Saturn and Neptune, and it's happening in your third house of the home. And it suggests that there could be some communication hiccups, there could be some mobility changes or changes in how you transport yourself in your cars, in your bike. There could be some blocks or something that you need to look realistically at. There could also be a little bit difficulties staying on schedule, but this moon really encourages you to align your daily habits with your bigger purpose, and also to really surround yourself with people who elevate your thinking. So yeah, a new friendship, a new community, a new collaboration could really spark something right now and could come forward. Something not only something that fuels your goals, but really enhances your overall well-being. So good luck, my dear Aquarius. Then we have Pisces, sun, moon, or rising. You are gonna have the full moon in Sagittarius happening in your 10th house of career, public recognition, your life direction, authority, and your own business. And it's marking a very powerful climax in your personal journey. So you might be reaching a career milestone or announcing a very big major decision. You could also be stepping more boldly into a leadership role, especially significant for you because it forms, the full moon forms a big mutable cross, a grand mutable cross. And it's happening to the North Node in your sign. So the moon squares the North Node opposite the sun and squares the South Node. So very, very important for you. The identity, first house, North Node. Then the South Node, partnership, seventh house. And it's really pushing you to choose personal growth over this people-pleasing tendency and to step into your public role with more confidence. So the sun's position is in your fourth house, and it creates emotional tension between your private life and your public ambition. And it's asking you to balance your home responsibilities with your own calling within. So it's a moment, it is about owning your purpose and claiming space in the outer world, and also being seen for your unique voice and all the contributions that you make for the outside world. And also very important to say and to mention, and is that we have a Mercury Jupiter conjunction Jupiter is, of course, the ruler of the full moon in Sagittarius, and this is happening in the 5th house of creativity, romance, and children. So Jupiter rules both your chart and the full moon. So the alignment here in the 5th house really amplifies the potential for major creative breakthroughs, very joyful news, and also self-expression that is tied to love or artistic projects. You might announce a pregnancy, you might launch a business that is more deeply rooted in your own passion, or this might reveal a new romantic chapter in your life. So just know that Jupiter and Mercury are squaring Saturn and Neptune in your 2nd house of money. So you're also at the same time being asked to invest wisely and also to confront financial issues or self-worth limitations, and also make mature decisions about where you direct your energy. Just know your worth, dear Pisces. And also you're building something that really matters. So whether it's a relationship, a project, or your visibility in the world, just trust that you're aligning with a new phase of purpose and joy, even if it requires a little bit of sacrifice, probably on the financial side of life. So just know that this full moon wants you to believe in your own vision. It wants you to stand tall and also to let your light be seen. So good luck, my dear Pisces. So that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed the full moon in Sagittarius. We're now gonna close this chapter under a sky filled with truth. That's so typically Sagittarius. And just know that you can ask yourself, what do I believe in now? And may this lunation spark the fire of your spirit, lead you beyond the walls of self-doubt, and also carry your dreams to the far edges of all the different possibilities that will emerge right now. So if you haven't already, like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.